Hey guys, come on in. You know what? I didn't even test my forgive me. Go ahead and give me a one in the chat to make sure that you can hear me. One in the chat to make sure that you can hear me. I didn't test my speaker before I came on here because I was so excited to talk to y'all. Gotta bring up my chair a little bit. I was so excited to talk to you guys. How we doing today? It's your girl, Sherry Summers. I am back, baby. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to come to you guys again in our faith, favor, and finance show. I could not wait. Come on in. Come on in. I'm so excited to be here. I'm back from Jamaica. It was so good to go back to my homeland, land of my birth. So it was so good to host Epicon 20. I'm ecstatic. I'm happy to be here. As you come in, go ahead and give me a one in the chat just to make sure that you can hear me. You can hear me loud and clear because in this video, we're going to be talking about how to double your sales without overthinking. We're going to talk about how to double your sales without overthinking. I'm going to go to my Facebook just to make sure I can test my volume and make sure we are good to go. Give me a one in the chat as you come in to make sure that we're good to go. I'm so excited. Okay, good. We're good to go. Awesome. So, um, in our faith, favor, and finance show, we have, if you're new to our community, our faith, favor, and finance community, if you're on YouTube watching, hop on over to our Facebook group, Faith, Favor, and Finance. On this show, we talk about how you helping you break limited belief system in your finances. If you're a financial coach, we're showing you how to maximize and monetize your financial expertise so the right people can see you and want to buy from you. Hey, it's your girl, Sherry Summers, your revenue master life coach. Let me get right in today's message. In today's message, we're going to talk about how to double your sales without overthinking. Doubling your sales without overthinking. Now, what does that look like? What does that look like for you? We have about a little bit under 2 months left in the year. Sherry, COVID had hit us hard. 2020 was not the best year. What are you talking about doubling your sales? What are you talking about going out there and get more revenue? What are you saying, Sherry? How are we able to double our sales when we have COVID going on, when we have all sorts of people losing their job? How are we able to double this sales? How I've been in business for 7 years and I still have not seen the revenue. I am stressed out. I can only scale my business but so far because I can only see a few people at a time in the financial space because finances require me to see one client at a time. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing all the things that you are saying, and I'm hearing you. So if I'm going to be talking about how to double your sales, the first thing I want us to focus on in regards to doubling our sales is to understand what mindset are we approaching this thing with. Huh? Ready? Are we ready to go? What mindset are we approaching this thing with? This last few months in our business, what is a mindset that we got going on right now, right? What is a mindset that we got going right now? We're about to get radical. Y'all ready? It's time for me to get in. Let me go ahead and give Facebook a little work to do their job. So y'all to come on in here because guess what? We about to go down. When you're coming here, when we say welcoming y'all in here inside of the community, it's about to go down. So welcome as you come in. Tell us who you are. Tell us what you do in case somebody is looking for your service. We love to always offer your service to you. Give you a different way for other people to see what you do. Okay, so let me dive right into what I have to say. All right. When we decide to get into this financial space, when we decided that we're going to work for ourselves, when we decide that we're going to help people build wealth, when we decide we're going to help people increase their earning power, right? The methodology of what most financial coaches follow is the fact of one-on-one coaching where you're helping people in their finances, as in you're looking at their financial report or you're looking at their financial statement. And after talking to some financial coaches this past few weeks, there's like, Sherry, we're tired, we're burned out. Because in that methodology of let's say you have 4 clients. If you can only work 4 clients, once those 4 clients pay you, how can you scale your business, right? How can you scale your business? Because you're a solopreneur. You only have four clients, and even if paying you paying you a good amount of money, that means you can't take on any more clients because there's only 24 hours in the day. You're a mom, you're busy, you have a child, you have kids in school, they're e-learning. There's a lot of stuff that you has going on right now. Right. So how can, and if you don't take on more clients, you can't pay your bill. Keep up with me. Right. So when you're in this financial space, that methodology of saying, I want to help people with their finances and untangle their financial errors or untangle their financial issue, it really becomes challenging because it's hard to scale from that mythology. It's hard to escape from that mythology. So if we're going to reframe our mind and change from a different mythology, the first thing we want to go to is ask yourself, why are you in this space? Why are you in this space of finances? And the reason I want to really harp on why you're in the space of finances, I'm sure you got in this space to not just help yourself with your finances, but help other people who are struggling in their finances as well, right? However, the methodology that you've designed, the blueprint you designed for your business, it can become conducive and it can become unscalable, right? But we're going to change that today. We're literally going to change that today. Because when we talk about why are you in this business, if you decide for yourself that you want to get into this entrepreneurial space, if you decide for yourself that you want to be in this space where you're helping people increase their earning power and make money, understand, just trying to be an entrepreneur as a full-time entrepreneur, that in itself is radical move. Right? That in itself is radical move. See what happened when people decide to say yes to themselves and come into the space where they have their own business. What they forgot to calculate is all the obstacles and challenges that they're getting ready to face. Because sometimes all they're thinking about is how much money they're going to make. They're not thinking about the obstacles and challenges. Your goal of your business is not to get good at making money. It's to get good at solving problems. Wait for it. Wait for it. Your goal in this business is you become better and better at solving other people's problems. And then you get paid for it. Stay with me. So when you decide that you want to be in this space of becoming an entrepreneur, you want to be in this space of helping people increasing their wealth power, understand that increasing their wealth power in this space is going to require you being radical. It's going to require you doing things unorthodox. It's going to require people are saying things about you, your family member not agreeing with your decision, but you still going anyway. I had to pause for the cause right there. So when you decide that you're going to go in this space, there's only one thing that can lead you to doubling your sales without overthinking. Whenever you have to make a big, huge financial decision, whether it's investing in a coach or making a huge financial decision, whether it's buying something, a CRM for your business or buying an overhead, you can, when you decide to say goodbye to your 9 to 5 and step into the fate where I either jump and build my parachute on the way down or whatever, when you decide to do that and you decide that you're going to do what we forgot, what we failed to calculate is the obstacles that comes along with that. And we have to go back to recalculating that inside of there too. We got to go back to understand that we're not going to forget our fear. We got to put fear with faith and move on. What really surprises me is how amazing people sit back looking for a strategy opposed to working on their own spiritual strength. Because when you decide to do things that are unorthodox, when you decide to create your why for yourself and have others benefit from your overflow, like Alison Bird said, we have everybody benefit from your overflow of your why. When you decide to do that, it's going to be radical and it's going to be life changing. But for it to be radical and for it to be life changing, you're going to be able to do things that others don't do and go places that others wouldn't be able to go because you have done radical things that others are afraid to do. So what do I mean? There's no way in the world that when you're in business and you decided that you're going to go into business for yourself, and I know when we're in the financial space, we're very logical. Financial people are very, very logical. 1 + 1 has to equal 2. If it's not 2, where did the money go? How did we forget? Financial people have to see 1 + 1 is equal 2, or is they're freaking out. So one of the reasons why financial coaches challenging are having a hard time receiving their abundance is because they're moving in a logical sense. Everything has to make sense to them from a logical standpoint. One of the biggest challenges that financial coaches has is because their own expertise is what keeping them stuck. When you look at the numbers in a bank account, and when you look at making decisions in your life versus the numbers in your bank account, it leaves you stagnant. It leaves you pressing a brake and pressing the gas at the same time. So you can't go forward and you can't go back because logically speaking, it doesn't make sense. Logically speaking, I got my $1,000 to my name, and I want to scale my business because I'm tired of spinning the wheels. But this coach said her price is $5,000, $7,000, and I don't have it. I only have $1,000, but it's $500 down. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to make the payments. So logically speaking, I cannot move because logically 500 does not add up to 7,000, doesn't add up to 5,000. So how can I move? And as people are in the financial space all the time, we are always afraid to move because we always move by logic. For our whole life, 1 + 1 has to equal 2. But guess what? The people who you have thought about and who you watch and you've observed, and the influencers and the celebrities that you have observed, they never, ever win with logic. Let's look at Beyonce and her mom putting out a lien on her house so Destiny's Child could get to the next level. Let's look at Steve Harvey sleeping in his car. Let's look at Tiffany Haddish sleeping in her car. When you decided to step out and become a coach or an entrepreneur, when you decided to do that, logic no longer live in the same lane as you chasing your dreams. Because if you make every decision from logic, it's going to tell you, no, you can't do it. It's going to say, no, don't do it. Because your mind is designed to keep you safe. What my coach said to me, Sherry, logic and abundance does not live in the same house. So if I say I want $480,000 in my bank account a year, $480,000, that's $40,000 a month. If I say I want $40,000 a month and I'm only making $5,000, that wouldn't make sense, right? Girl, you better hang that up, go get you a 9-to-5, conversation over. Logically speaking, that doesn't make sense. But logic and where you're trying to go, this is why favors ain't fear. You hear that all the time. Favors ain't fear. Why? Because a person who been playing the lottery all their life don't win anything, and then somebody on their birthday say, hey, I'm going to go get a lottery ticket, and won thousands of dollars. That's why they said favors ain't fear. Because logically, the person who's been playing all their life are supposed to be with the one winning. But one thing I love about abundance, and one thing I love about prosperity, it never lives under your logic. It blows your mind. It always blows your mind. So when you decide that in the next 2 months, you're not going into 2021 the same way, when you decide that you don't care what the outcome of tomorrow is or the outcome of tonight presidential is, you're going to win anyway, because abundance doesn't live in logic. Logically speaking, if Trump wins, all hell break loose. Logically speaking, if Biden wins, all hell break loose. But the beauty about life is that you're not led by a president. The beauty about life is that you lead about a man above. We already have a president. So this is why it's so important that when you decide that you're going to step out on your own faith and create your own business so you can make an income while making an impact, this is why it's so important that you move always remain in the spirit opposed to logic. This is why I always say it's 70% spiritual, 30% practical. Because in the logical sense, it's going to say you can't do it. In a logical sense, it doesn't make sense. So as business owner, as financial coaches, as business owners, when you're deciding, when you're coming up against obstacles, it's so important. And it is so vital that you understand that decisions that you're going to make for your business does not reflect the numbers that's in your bank account. This is why. This is so why. This is so why. This is exactly why. It's so important. I just told my client this 2 minutes ago. I said, this is why you have to stay in the fight, because every year now, that because I'm in business for so long, I know Black Friday is coming up. Every year, Black Friday is here. Hello, surprise. It comes every year. But and you know what your business is going to do, because as you build that routine of your business, you know what it's going to be. But when you decided to be an entrepreneur, when you decide to be full-time in your business, there's no way you're going to be looking in your account or looking at your resource that you currently have and make a decision. That is premature thinking, because when you're in this space, abundance and logic doesn't live in the same lane. And if you understand spirituality, you start making decisions and taking things and making decisions for your business where your bank account doesn't reflect anything like the big decision that you're making. Because how can you measure your faith if you're making decisions that are comfortable? And even in the Bible, test me so I can show thyself approved. Test me and see. Test me and see. Test me and see, right? That's what God said. Test me and see. So you're saying, how can you measure the strength of your faith if you never test your faith? Come on. Who am I talking to today? Give me a 5 in the chat if I'm talking to you today. Give me a 5 in the chat if I'm talking to you today. How can you know what abundance and prosperity look like if you never allowed it to work in your favor? If every time you make a decision, it's from a careful decision. How can you measure? How can you test your faith muscles if every time you make a decision, it's only from a comfort zone? Test me and see. He says, study to show thyself approved. Test me and see. I remember signing up when I signed up for my $10,000 program, I didn't have $10,000 in the bank. I did not. But what I do have, I have property preservation business that the education from that 10K coaching program now make me more than that 10K. So no, I didn't. I didn't have it in the bank. And no, it didn't come back tenfold in the beginning. But the education knowledge from that 10K program that I was so upset about that I got, now I'm using that same knowledge and double that 10K program. It said, test me and see. So what our challenges are when we're deciding to, y'all, if you're just joining, we're talking about how to double your sales without overthinking, because we're overthinking this too much. And the reason why we're overthinking it, and the reason why we're overthinking it, we're not stretching our faith muscles. Because if we're stressing our faith muscles, when you're going to say, hey, I want this program. It's cost $10,000. And I don't know, but I know I need this program to move the angle in my business. But you look at your account and it doesn't say 10. You don't know what's restored. And many of the times, the reason why we don't see so many successful people is because we have a tendency that we have to see what's going to happen first before we do it. And that's why we're stuck. I was at the airport coming back from Jamaica. When I was coming back, the 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 TSA, the people, you got to go through all these little security. And my brother always laughed at me because I'm the type of person that security's going to come and they're going to search your bags and they're going to randomly pick you to be searched on your way back from another international country. It's just what they do, right? But the radical Sherry is going to go to them before they go to me. So this is me, grab my bags. I already know the routine. I used to be a cop. So I already say, hey, where's the bathroom? So she wanted to pull me, but she couldn't pull me because I disrupted what she was thinking to do. So I said, hey, and I call her by her last name. So I'm just going to say, hey, Brown, female Brown. Hey, Officer Brown, where's the bathroom? Because the bathroom is locked over there. So she's like, oh, the bathroom is to your left. Then when I got out of the bathroom, walking back to get my bags, there's another guy who is also immigration customs, stopped me, a black guy. And I was like, hey, how long you been working here? Disrupt what he was thinking. Because in his mind, then we went talking and he was like, hey, why you didn't come to custom? And I was like, listen, I don't like, the cop days are over. And we had a conversation. But I deliberately do that to disrupt what he was thinking because he had to pick somebody random. And honey, I passed by the custom, didn't search me, went straight home. Why is that? Because I go in front of the thing that I was fearing. Not that I was fearing them, but they're not used to people coming up to them to ask a question. They're used to people trying to run from them. So I disrupt the normal. When was the last time you disrupt the normal? When was the last time you go after a dream that is beyond yourself? I'll wait. When was the last time you go after a dream that beyond yourself? When was the last time you committed to something that if it happened, you say it got to be God? Okay, I'll wait. If I'm talking, you give me a high five in the chat. Give me a high five. Drop some jams in here. When was the last time you really study? You really test God? When was the last time you go after something that make you have to say, it got to be God while I got this thing? Y'all need to tag some people up in here. Somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody needed to hear this today. Somebody really, really need to hear this today. When was the last time you say to yourself, listen, I'm going to go after this. If it work, it work. If it doesn't, it doesn't. God's responsibility is for the outcome. My responsibility is to do the work. God's responsibility is for the outcome. My responsibility is to do the work. When was the last time you really you really go after something you truly wanted? You really, truly wanted. So when it happened, you say, this got to be God. This can't be nobody else. When was the last time you put your money, because that's why, and I'm saying money because revenue, this is where our treasure, some of us treasures are, right? Will you put your money where your faith is? How to double your sales without overthinking. Because every decision you make in order to double your sales have to be from a spiritual standpoint, because the results is not going to be when you think the results should come. But in the end, it's going to all make sense. So every decision that you make in your business, every obstacle, every challenge, all those has to be added up because it's a part of the process. It's a part of the process. If y'all was listening to my live when I was in Jamaica, I said to y'all, I sat inside of Epicon 2019, Epicon 19 in Las Vegas, and says, man, I would love to co-host that event next year. Write the vision, make it plain. Right after I said that, they said, hey, somebody's name like Stephanie is hosting it next year. I went on, I said what I need. I said, write the vision, set it, let it. Because guess what? God is, his responsibility is for the outcome. My responsibility is to do the work. I went on, I did it, I spoke it, I wrote it, and I went on doing the work of what I do right now, doing live videos, being seen, being in authority. And then I got a phone call that, hey, Epicon 20 is switched to Jamaica and we need you to host. This time, the person didn't even know that I had requested before in 2019, that I wrote that vision in 2019. I love to test God so he can show thyself approved. If you're saying, I am tired of being where I am. If you're saying, I had enough. Listen, the people who were not stressed out in 2021, in 2020 during the COVID, are the people who know where the abundance and their spirituality lies. It's not another strategy you need. It's to be able to make a decision from a spiritual sense, not from a logical sense. Making decision from a spiritual sense, from a logical sense, not from a logical sense. Because a logical always going to see that you can't do it. A logical is, and here's another thing why I don't want you as an entrepreneur making decision from a logical sense, because a logical sense keep you comfortable. It don't stretch you. But when you're able to make decision from a spiritual sense, when things happen, you don't have a choice but say, it had to be favors on my life. How can you say those words if you are never, ever putting yourself in a position to be stretched? As soon as somebody said the price, you close in. As somebody said for you to go an extra mile, you close in. So your faith muscles never get exercised because you're not putting yourself in position for your faith muscles to be exercised. And as long as you're exercising your faith muscles, that means you're making decisions, you're taking risks, you're making decisions, you're taking risks, and you're making decisions. Because that's the only way you truly know your faith. But if you already know the outcome based on you being comfortable, that's not faith. Test me and see if I don't open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that you don't have room to receive it. He's literally testing you. Say, do it. And what we crumbled. But we crumbled. God literally saying, test me and see. Test me and see if I won't pour out the windows of heaven and give you a blessing that you don't even have room to overflow. But yet you're like, no, I'm going to be comfortable. No, I'm not going to do this. No, I'm not going to sign up for that program. No, I'm going to do my DUI, do it on my own. No, I'm not going to go here. No, I'm not going to go call for that house. No, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to let people know what I know. No. But he's literally saying, test me. Your answers is right there. Your answers is right. Go sign up for that house that they say you can't make. Go sign up for that car that you truly want. Stop settling. Go make radical decisions. No, I don't want to go in debt. Oh my gosh. Well, if you feel that way, don't do it. Because I said test him. I didn't say test yourself. I said test him. I didn't say test Jacynthia. I didn't say test Sylvia. I didn't say that. I said test him. How do you truly know God exists if you never measure his faith? If you never measure, you want to double your sales and without stressing, is to be able to make radical decisions that when the decision take place, you know it got to be God. When that decision take place, you know your decision has to be made from abundance mindset, not from a logical mindset, because abundance and logical doesn't live in the same lane. So I'm just going to sign up for this program. $47 a month is comfortable for me. What $47 program? But you want to make 40,000 a year. You want to make 80,000 a year. You want to make 90,000 a year. You want to make $480,000 a year. But this is in my price range. So I'm going to stay in my price range. So I'm going to do that. That's not a test. And everyone that I can name that I know that is successful, Lisa Nichols that is successful, everyone that I know from a finance, Dave Ramsey, the same Dave Ramsey that y'all follow every day, he was broke when he was helping people with their finances. Did y'all know that? Broke. But kept going, had the knowledge, but was broke. That's one of his testimonies, that he was broke while helping people with their finances. Beyonce mom said, we put our house up for sale. We put our house up on we had to leave. We took out a mortgage on our home. My husband left his job and we were fine. My husband left his job. Tests. Where's your faith muscles? If you want to double your sales in the next few months, I need you to make decisions to get this help that you need and start looking. Here's another reason I'm going to end here why I don't want you to why I really want you to get this in your system, that it becomes a part of you. So when you go into 2021, you're ready. Here's why. When you make decisions from an abundance standpoint, opposed to a logical standpoint, you will reap the harvest of the abundance. You will start reaping the harvest of the abundance. But if you start making decisions, if you start making decisions where you're comfortable, that means you're not being stretched. You're not getting out of your comfort zone. And your reflections of what you have now up to this point is a direct reflection of not getting out of your comfort zone. Every decision you make from a logical standpoint, here's why. Here's why I want you to stop thinking logical. I know we are financial coaches and we know our numbers. I know every time I go to my shout out to Kuana. Every time I go to my financial coach and I say, hey, listen, I'm going to buy an iPhone 4, iPhone Pro Max. She'll be like, okay, so where's the money going to come from for this before you replace this? I'm like, oh, it's going to come, right? Or I'll say, I need an iPad Pro. Okay, I'm going to go buy an iPad. Where's this going to come from? Logically, it's not the time to buy it. But I wait and I'm like, okay, but I have to always I had to keep flying around with my iPad, and my iPad is bulky. So my laptop is bulky. So I said, okay, I need to get an iPad. It's keep happening. I need to get an iPad. But from a logical sense, my financial coach is like, no, don't know. But from an abundance standpoint, yeah, I'm going to do it. I did my research and look at the one I want. I'm going to do it. When we stop and analyze that we have people around us, and let me know if you know somebody like this. If they're broke, they're unhappy. The minute their bank account dropped to a certain number, they're unhappy. They get grumpy. They don't want to talk to you. They snap at you because the bank account has went down to a number, or they went overdraft or something. But when their money's getting low, their behavior of life has changed. Do you know somebody like that? Yes or no in the chat? Yes. You know somebody like that? Their behavior has changed. But the minute they get payday, or the minute they get money, or they get a new client, now the behavior, now they're boss up, now they're girl boss, now the CEO, now the millionaire, now whatever words they be using, the hashtag. Which means logically that their money was only based, their happiness is determined solely by whatever is going on in their bank account. Can you imagine the emotions that create when you are only being happy based on a number? And a number, if you're in the entrepreneur space, it goes up, it goes down, right? Unless you're doing IULs, but that's different. Different life. I digress. But the point here is this. You know someone that the only time they're happy tax season, they're happy when the income tax get here, they're happy during Christmas time. Can you imagine only being happy when you have money in your bank account? Do you imagine the ups and downs of your emotion because your happiness lies in a number? And if you're in this entrepreneur space, baby, you know how that goes, right? Today's $2. Next year is $2,000. Next hour, it's $1 million. That's just how entrepreneurship rolls. So that's what it is, so powerful and important that you have to condition your mind to be in abundance, not from a number, but from what you say, from knowing you're a descendant of Abraham, from knowing when God says study and show thyself approved, when God said cattle on 1,000 hills belong to you, faith without works is dead. So all the things in the scriptures in the Bible is what remind me of my happiness, not a number that's in my bank account. The number is God's job to deal with the outcome. It's my job, responsibility to do the work. Once I know I'm doing the work, why wouldn't my harvest come? I used to do this crazy thing. Which I can't do anymore. I don't do it anymore. I'm better in my finances now. I don't do it no more. Y'all know my story. I used to do this crazy thing. I would get my bank account down to zero. I would invest in my business so much and get my bank account down to $0 just to test him and see. How can we sit on these amazing scriptures every day and then have emotions when our money go dry? That is all part of building a business. So if we really rely on our happiness based on what the reflection of our account is, especially if we're a good steward of our money, there's a difference where we're not good steward of our money. But even when we're not, there are times things happen in cycle that we have to keep learning till we get it right. But being a good steward of your money, and you say, okay, I invested in something or I did something, you can justify why your money went somewhere. You cannot allow your happiness to be in a number finger, because money is energy. It goes and it comes. It goes and it comes. So if that's your sole definition of being happy, you will never be happy. Your abundance flows consistently. So I was, I don't do it anymore, y'all. I don't do it anymore. But I was okay with dropping my bank account to $0 because I had no doubt in my mind that God would fill it up. No doubt in my mind. I was like, okay, God, do what you do, baby. Do what you do. I would disrupt the atmosphere and say, do what you do, baby. And as I got better in my finances, I was like, okay, I can't do it anymore. But I was being good still, but being good steward of my money. But that was me testing God to say, study to show thyself approved. That was me saying, test me and see if I won't open up the windows of heaven and give you a blessing that you don't have room to overflow. He said, test him. But yet you're wondering will that program work? I was asking my coach a question, and she said, Sherry, stop asking me what the program is going to do for you. Start saying, what are you going to bring to the program for it to work? It's not what it do for you. It's what are you going to bring to it? We don't have enough because we don't test God enough. Oh, I don't know who that one's for. We don't have enough because we don't test our faith enough. We don't test our faith enough. So if you're wondering why you're always trying to figure out or get the next thing, and I close here, you're not testing your faith enough. I used to have a pastor. She used to say, if you say you want something good or something, you want a house or you're working on getting a house, she would say, give more. Inside of my life insurance agency, I challenged them this week to find somebody and give $50 to just give it away. $50. You want to give 10, 20, 25, but it got to be a total of 50. We do radical things like that. Give $50 away. Don't be tied to it. Don't be tied to money. The reason why even our community is struggling because our community, especially Black community, doesn't know how to release money because we're not used to having it. But the secret of doubling your sales is to be okay with releasing money without any outcome. What in the church we call it sowing a seed. Because we know whether when we release the money out, it does not reflect our happiness. We're going to be happy if there was $2 or if there was $1 million in the bank because we know money's energy. So you go through seasons. So not because you got $2 today, that doesn't mean you got $1,000 tomorrow. Not because you got $1 million today. Money is energy. Energy. So you cannot allow the definition of your happiness to be tied to a number. But instead, you have to move in the spirit, remain in the spirit, and every decision in your business is 70% spiritual, 30% practical. So you have to remain in the spirit. When you're in the spirit, you make decision that doesn't look right in the natural eye. When you're in the spirit, you make decision that you have researched and said, this is for my business. And you act on that decision. When you're in the spirit, it may not, the outcome you're looking for is bigger than what you expected, but you don't see it because you only see it from your eyes. So how to double your sales without overthinking? Is start making decisions from an abundance standpoint, opposed to making decisions from a logical standpoint. You know, you need to get that CRM. Oh my goodness, that one's too expensive. I bought a CRM for my business. I have Entreport, and Entreport is $150. And I didn't even have that one client. And I was paying $150 for 3 months. But let me tell you, in that 3 months before I got my client, right? Because y'all know my story. I told y'all my story. During that time, I was learning how to use Entreport. I was learning the ins and out of it. I was learning how it works. So by the time I finally got my client, I was already savvy in using that CRM because the time when I wasn't making any money in it, I was doing the work. I was doing the work. And now the system, the $150, now it pays for itself. But in the beginning, I just got radical and decided that, hey, Amy Porterfield used Entreport, my coach used Entreport, all these people that I know use Entreport, and I want to be where they are. I want to be like Cheryl Johnson that's making $35 million. I want to be that. And they're using Entreport. So if they're using Entreport, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm using Entreport. I don't use Entreport system, but I'm gonna find that's what I mean by testing and see. Test me and see. Test me and see. Because from a logical standpoint, it says, nah, I shouldn't get that right now because I don't have the client right now to cover that price. That's from a logical standpoint. So I should just stick with MailChimp. But I'm not going after MailChimp money. I'm going off of Entreport money. I'm trying to make the $480,000 a year. Y'all not hearing me. So I can't make $480,000 a year with MailChimp. I need all the services that Entreport can do. So I need to go with the big boy. Yes, I don't have the client right now, but guess what, baby? By the time I master Entreport and know the ins and out of it, my client is going to come. And it did. And it did. So what if I had stick with MailChimp because it was free? Well, I don't want my business to be free because that's not the energy that I'm setting off, right? We talk about abundance. We talk about prosperity. So I decided that I'm going to pay $150 for 3 months straight with no clients. And while I'm paying that $150 with no clients for this CRM, this big beast of a CRM, I'm learning how it works because I know my clients are coming. And that's what I did when I started off. That's what I did. Pay $150 for this service that literally was 0 people in my email list. That was 0 people in my email list paying $150 a month. Because that's what I mean by study to show thyself approved. That's what I mean by test me and see. Because I was going to test God and say, listen, you're going to have me pay this $150 and not going to bring me any clients? Hello, universe. Who am I talking to today? Yo, she said, oh my goodness. She said, oh my goodness. Sylvia said, I'm talking to her before I even look down. This is what I call my alignment. Before I even get a chance to say, who am I talking to? Sylvia, I see you, girl. Wow, that was crazy. I'm getting ready to say it. Who am I talking to today? Oh my goodness. Look at God. Alignment. That's what I call that, alignment. Alignment. So I got this system, and I got to end. I promise you. I got this system, and I had no clients in my database. I paid $150 for this Entreport. Why? Amy Porterfield has Entreport. April Franks had Entreport. Dana Mostov has Entreport. Dawn's Mars has Entreport. Taki Moore. These people that are in my industry that do what I do, that are millionaires, they had Entreport. Right? So y'all was just looking, and Entreport does everything I want to do, especially when I'm speaking from stage. So I decided that I'm going to pay this Entreport. Now, from a logical sense and from a financial sense, it didn't make sense because I had no clients. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Tag somebody. Tag your business bestie. It didn't make sense. She says 70-30. Yes, 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 Sylvia. 70-30. 70% spiritual, 30% practical. So from a 70% spiritual, it didn't make sense to get Entreport knowing I didn't even have any clients coming in. But guess what? Baby girl was putting in the work. God's job is for the outcome. My job is to put in the work. Whatever the outcome is after I put in the work, that's between God and the world, not me. So I got Entreport paying $150 every month, $150 every month. There are times people say, well, what CRM you use? I say Entreport, but I'm like, Lord Jesus, Entreport, right? And so I had no clients, nobody in my email list, nobody in my database. And I'm paying for this, but I'm still paying for it. I'm still paying for it. That's what I mean by being radical and trusting the process. So I got Entreport, and now, oh my gosh, Entreport pays for itself. But if I stick with MailChimp, but yet I want to be if I said I want my business to be branded in a position, I got to feel like it. I got to be like it. I got to become it. And I could not become it with MailChimp. And I'm not knocking anyone, but this is just real. And I'm the person who believes in use what's in your hands. But if no matter how I was going to pay that $150, I was going to pay that $150 on the 25th of every month. And I do things like that all the time. I do things like this all the time. About just literally testing my spirituality. Just testing my spirituality to say, okay, what my bank accounts say versus what my business needs are not the same thing. However, I can always use my spirituality to make my decisions. My job is to put in the work. God's job is to do the outcome. So I test my spirituality. And when I test my spirituality, it always wins. Abundance always wins over logic. Always win. Try going live for 60 days on a cell phone and nobody opting in. Nobody catching you. Nobody would calling you. And then after the 60 days, you make $12,000. Radical. So when you decide that you're going to be in this entrepreneur space, Jamela, Sylvia, Jacynthia, Hernette, when you decide that you're going to say yes to yourself and come to this entrepreneur space, understand that there's several things I want you to get out of this live. One, abundance is never in line with logical. Abundance and illogical never live in the same space. Two, you always have to make decisions from a spiritual sense, not a practical sense, because it's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense to other people. It's not going to make sense to your friends. It's not going to make sense to anyone but you, because you're in a spiritual sense. It's like you're in church and you're just praising the Lord. The person next to you looking at their phone. Y'all in same place, but two different mindsets. And number three, I wanted you to get from this is the fact that the numbers on your account cannot be the determination of your happiness. You really want abundance? Try looking at your account and not happy with the numbers and still praising God anyway, and still screaming anyways, and still speaking affirmation loud as you can anyway. When people call you with obstacles or challenges for you to push your business to the next level, I dare you to speak out loud. I dare you to proclaim your name. I dare you to be happy and humble. That money come to you easily and effortlessly on a continuous basis through multiple streams of income. I dare you to speak your affirmations. I choose to believe money is always all around me, and I seek evidence of what I believe. I dare you, because what happened is you're supposed to be upset. You're supposed to be crying. You're supposed to be sad. But then you start speaking life into yourself, and it re-energizes the atmosphere to say, this person is determined to go get what they want. This person is determined by God's will, not my strength, but his strength. This person, now this ain't what y'all people teach at church. I'm talking about a real thing when you're on your hands and knees and said, it got to be work. If I know some of you guys miss me in Jamaica, but I tell them it has to come through. It has to come through. Ain't no cliche. You put in the work. But if you sit here and you're selling yourself short and you're settling, you cannot. Because now you're not positioning yourself to show the universe what you want. It has to come through. So there are times when I make decisions, I say, wait. Did you miss Mark? Because I showed you what I wanted. I'm up late at night doing what I wanted. I'm around the people that of what I wanted. I talk like what I wanted. I walk like what I wanted. Did you miss the mark? And every time God missed the mark is because it was way bigger than what I was settling for. It was way bigger. So as I end this live today, Faith Favor Finance show live on every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Reach out to me if you're ready to go big. Reach out to me if you're ready for abundance. In my camp, there's no logic. In my camp, everything is spiritual. In my camp, you're making decisions from a spiritual sense. In my camp, you got to do the spiritual with the practical. In my camp, we don't live in logic. We don't live in numbers because numbers fluctuate. Tell me what bank account doesn't fluctuate. Numbers fluctuate. Life happen, recession happen, universe happen. So we can't rely on numbers, but rely on our faith muscles. You say you have me in tears right now. And as I end, every decision that you make in your business, when you feel like giving up, when you feel like throwing the towel, here's what I'm going to tell you. Give more. Give more from a financial sense. Give more from a spiritual sense. Give more from a time sense. Give more. Oh, Sherry, that don't even make no sense. Give more. Give more. I remember telling my coach one time, she had a $16,000 program, and I was like, I can't afford that. Ooh, that payment is high. Well, I don't know if I could afford that. She said, logically speaking, no, you can't. Yeah, logically speaking, no, you can't. But logic is not what you're chasing. If logically speaking, Tiffany Haddish, Steve Harvey, Lisa Nichols, Beyonce, Serena Williams, her sister, Venus Williams, logically speaking, none of these people should be where they are. Logically, right? Slept in their cars. All this started stuff, all these obstacles that was against us. So logically, you're right. From a logical sense, you're right. None of these people should be in the position that they are. Logically, you're right. Eric Thomas slept in abandoned buildings. Lisa Nichols slept in her studio with her son. So from a logical sense, you're right. So if we allow logic, our logic saying 1 + 1 is 2, our logic is saying I can't do that right now, our logic saying I want to be further, but I don't have any support system, from a logical sense. But guess what? Everyone that I just mentioned, the 2 girls from Compton playing tennis, everyone I just mentioned, it wasn't logic that get them to the next level. It was their spirit. It was a spirit realm. It's not logic that's going to make your clients come in. And one of the things I think we do wrong here is, and I try to really change this inside of our group, we are so busy focusing on leads, as in on a client, one client coming in to get paid, when there's avenues of multiple things that we are good at, that a lot of people are not seeing. So in my space, in the space that I'm in, my revenue channels are not just from clients. Because what happened if I don't get a client next week? How am I going to keep the light on? So it's to use all of you. It's to use all of you. I hope y'all don't miss that. Especially from a financial standpoint, there's only a few amount of people you can serve in a financial space. If you're looking at people reports, if you look at people accounts, it gets draining, right? It gets draining of making sure their numbers are right, making sure that they're not overspending. That you can only service from a solopreneur standpoint a few amount of people, right? However, when you start using up all your genius and all your talents, when you start that education and knowledge you have about finances, and you start taking that to speaking engagement, and you start building out courses in the financial space, now you're not just relying on one client to pay your bills, but you're also getting paid to speak. You're getting booked in engagements. So one thing I really big inside of our group, Faith, Favor, and Finance for financial coaches, is to maximize and monetize all of your talents that you're getting paid. I am humble and happy that money comes to me easily and effortlessly through continuous resources, through multiple channels on a consistent basis. Cheryl said, God's sending my tribe and I'm selecting my team right now. I know my life isn't one to be understood or comprehended. Exactly. I love that. I love that. So let me end here by saying the next decision that you make, Sherelle, the next decision that you make, Sylvia, the next decision that you make, Pamela, the next decision that you make, Jacynthia, make that decision from a spiritual sense. What does your spirit say? What does your spirit say? Not what your logic say. So that's why when somebody says something to me, I go to sleep. If my spirit says yes, it's a yes. I don't care what my count look like. What does your spirit realm say? There's some decisions that some of y'all have to make right now in your life. And you are scared as heck to make those decisions. You are scared as heck. It wasn't by accident that you stop on this live. So the answer I'm going to ask you, Sylvia, the answer I'm going to ask you, Jacynthia, the answer I'm going to ask you, Jamela, or the question I'm going to ask Sherelle is, what does your spirit realm says? Don't look at your account. Don't look at your time. Don't look at your resources. What does your spirit say? God is a spirit, and those that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. The reason that you can't worship God in logic, because logic won't make sense. So what does your spirit realm say in the decisions that you have to make? Because if you look around you, it's going to say it's not the right time. We don't have the money. We don't have the resources. We don't have the support. All of that is going to come up. But everybody that I saw that are successful, that was an abandoned building or did something with everyone that I saw and I know and went through something, they did not allow the logic to make the answer for them. So don't allow the logic of life. Abundance and logic does not live in the same realm. Because when you start learning how to live in abundance, even if your money is up, down, around, you're still happy. And the goal at the end of the day is to be happy. So when you stop allowing money to control your happiness, you will dance like no one is watching. Whether you got $10,000 in the bank or $20,000 in the bank, you will dance regardless of what it is. You will start make decision to grow your business and invest in a higher level because you want better for your family. All right, I'm going to end there. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I want to make sure that I get everyone's information. She said, I finally dancing in my gift and feeling good. I love that, Sherelle. I love that. Sherelle said, I just got another speaking engagement. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, favors on your life. I love that. Love, 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 love. Love that. Cynthia say, yes, 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 yes. So I hope you take away from here today is your decisions must always be from a spiritual decision. 70% spiritual, 30% practical. All right, guys, join me next Tuesday for the same Faith, Favor, and Finance show at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are seriously ready to move your business and scale your business to a higher level, please, please, please DM me, get in touch with me. Talk with me. I'm always just a message away. It's your girl, Sherry Summers, your revenue master life coach. Talk to you later. Spiritual, 70%, practical, 30%. Have a good day.